Hey guys, Random Ranger here. I'm currently in the middle of making a DMR that I want to mount onto the back of my costume, and I thought I'd make a video on it, on how I do my magnetization, because some people might find it interesting. So I've got a ton of magnets I just got off Amazon, link in the description. But I'll be making this video in segments as I move along, so it may cut and stutter, but here we go. So to start, I cut out the basic templates for the outline of my DMR here. These files are available for free online to 405th members. I'll provide a link to that in the description. But basically, first step here is to take one of these templates and move it over onto my torso and try to figure out where the magnets are going to best line up. So inside of my torso here, if I just move these out of the way, take this off, we can see that, don't mind the cables, but I've got 4 stacks of 4 magnets each. And each one of these stacks is about that thick, which is about 2 centimeters. So I want to have these magnets mount to my DMR, and then I have to add another magnet in right here and move these cables. So if we look at this, flip this back over, look at this, we put this down right here. I want the DMR to sit about right here, and I'm keeping an eye on, so the magnets are right here. So I'm trying to make sure that I've got enough surface area of the DMR to hide the magnets on the inside. So if we put that right there, you can see these magnets just kind of lock right into place where the ones on the inside are. Yeah, so right there. So basically, we're gonna try to line this last one up as best we can. It looks like it would. So if it gets, the magnet's gonna go right about where this divot is. So we're gonna cover that up. So the other set of magnets would go like right about right here. So what I would do is I then want to take my Sharpie and just kind of draw a circle around these magnets. This Sharpie's kind of dying on me a little bit. And bam. So now we can take these magnets off and we'll know right where those are supposed to go. So then we're gonna Dremel holes right here, about halfway through, about 5 millimeters into this 10 millimeter foam. And we're gonna embed that in there with shoe goo, and then that'll hold. Okay, so now we need to Dremel these holes out of the inside of the DMR. So to do that, we're going to use a Dremel. This is a 60 grit sanding bit with the end pulled out just a little bit so that the sanding bit can extend beyond the screw that holds it in. That just lets me push down like this with it. And what I'm going to do is, since this is 10 millimeter foam, and I know I want to go 5 millimeters deep with the hole to put the magnet in, I'm just going to put a little silver mark on my sanding paper at the 5 millimeter line. So like right about right there. I'm just going to put a little mark right there, wrap that all the way around, because I do not want to go past my limit, because I'll go all the way through the foam and that would be bad. All right, there we go. So we've got just a silver line right there. That'll make it real easy to see where my limit is. Okay, so then I'm just gonna put this on high, and then we're gonna go straight down and Dremel out this hole. Okay, that looks about right. Let's see if one of our magnets fits in here. I've noticed that these magnets are 5 millimeters, so if we made it 5 millimeter, it should be about flush. And just rubbing it with my finger, this feels pretty much flush. So I'm gonna say that's good. So let's go ahead and Dremel out the next one. Oh, this side is a little bit too high, so we have to Dremel that down. Remember, you can always Dremel more away, but you can't put the foam back. Alright, that looks good. Better to have the hole a little bit bigger than the magnet than too small, because that's just going to all fill up with shoe goo anyways. Okay, now that we got this cut out, I'm just going to test how well the magnets hold on. This will be a better representation of how well they'll hold on once the DMR is built. Because now they're at the proper length, or proper distance from the magnets in the torso. So we just put a 4-stack right there. We put a 4-stack right here. Oh yeah, that holds really nicely. Look, it's basically pulling the torso up with it, so that'll hold really good. Okay, so I went ahead off camera and I added some magnets to the inside of the torso down here. They're not glued in yet, but they're sitting in there temporarily, which will be just long enough for me to zone in on finding where these magnets are, and it's already locked into place. Go ahead and circle, just the bad marking, and go ahead and circle around here for that magnet location, and then I'm going to Dremel that out as well. Okay, so now that we got this mark, we're just going to go for the same process we've already done. We're just going to Dremel this out. I think that one turned out a bit better than the other ones now that I'm a little warmed up. Let's go ahead and see if our just one. Our magnets fit in here, and that fits great. Perfect. So that should be good to go. We should be ready to glue these into place and then start assembling the rest of the rifle. Okay, now to glue these down, you're going to want a couple things. First off, you're going to need some shoe goo. This is what we're going to use to hold the magnets in place. And you're also going to want some gloves. But it's pretty easy. Just going to put these gloves on. then I'm gonna take 2 magnets for each of the holes. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. Just put the rest of these away. So then basically, I already have a tube open here. So basically, you're just gonna take some shoe goo. You're just gonna put this down inside that hole, just big glob inside the hole, and then just squish this down inside of it. And then once it's down, I like to go around again and kind of cover over it. It's just self-level, but basically I just want it to be surrounded all the way, and use your gloves to just kind of work it. Make sure there's no air bubbles underneath. Really squish it down. Rub all this around. And bam, once that cures, that magnet should be going nowhere. Let's do that for the other 3. Oops. For other 2. Now, okay, so while these are drying, it's really important that the surface you're drying them on is flat, and you don't have any magnets under them. This is important because if this isn't flat and there's magnets under it, it'll pull these magnets out towards the bottom, and then they'll start bulging out of the prop, and that's not good. I can show you an example of that in a second. And that's it. You're gonna want to throw these gloves away. But we just let that sit for 24 hours, and then these will be in there, and we'll cut out some squares on the inside of the prop to allow for the extra space of the goo and magnets. I'm going to put 2 more magnets on top of each of these, and then we're going to seal the prop together with all the other 3 parts of the template, and that'll be good. Okay, so I just wanted to real quick show you why it's important to have a flat surface. And so here's a Halo Reach reentry pack that I've been working on. It still needs to be painted. But on the back, I've got magnets for mounting. And you can see that I've got 4 sets of magnets in here. There's these 4 spots that have bulged out, and that's no good. You don't want that. And so I could have avoided that if I think this was attached to the torso while it was curing. And so we don't want to do that. Just for fun though, I thought I'd show you that these magnets do indeed work. So this is a Halo Reach reentry pack. It's actually heavier than this torso. If I just take these, go just like that, and that locks on. Now it can fall off if it gets bumped too hard or if I'm walking really fast, but for the most part, it sits on it. See, it'll fall off because this thing is ridiculously heavy. But for the most part, it sits on there pretty well. Okay, so here we are at the inside of the torso. I dremeled out off camera the inside here, but I still have to shoe goo in the magnets themselves. So these 2 are just going to sit right in there. Let's get this cord out of the way. So I'm going to put a nice glob right there. Put these down and just surround this with shoe goo. It's real important that you don't cure the shugu in a poorly ventilated environment. So I like to at least let these cure in the garage. If you have to do it inside, try to ventilate the area as much as possible. Use a respirator so you're not damaging your lungs while you're working with it. This stuff is not good for you. And that's it. We just let these cure, and that's basically how you do magnets. But I'll show you the end product once the rifle is built. Hey guys, so I've got the magnets into the rifle now, and one of the things that I noticed was that the connection between the gun and the torso wasn't as strong as I would have liked. So what I ended up doing was I ended up bringing the magnets closer to the surface. So basically I just dremeled out the rest of the circle and put another magnet on top. So it was magnets all the way through. There was no foam in between the magnets and the torso piece. And I had to do this because in order to finish building the DMR, I had to put some more foam right here. And you can see like right here. And for the details, and that just was going to be too much thickness added for the connection to hold. So I just cut out some more of my base foam, and I brought that forward. Now I also have a Magnum and a Reach reentry pack that I didn't have to do that for, and it worked. So you're just going to have to fiddle with it yourself and see what works for you. All right, so here we are. The construction of the rifle is more or less complete. I still got some details to add on the barrel here and some just general polishing around the rifle. Make sure I didn't miss any details. Like I know there's some doodads that have to go right here. But more or less, this is going to be the shape and weight of the rifle. And I just wanted to show you that it holds onto the back piece. So it's a little tricky because I'm not used to doing this yet. But if I just grab this and just drop it back there, ta-da, it holds on. And then I've found that, I'm able to even jump a little bit. Oop, fell on that last one. And then just line up that bottom magnet, and there we go. I have found that this is a strong enough connection to be able to bump into some walls with, small to medium amount of force without it falling off. It will fall off, like you saw, if under a number of strong bumps in a row. Like, if I'm jumping up and down for a while. And I think that's because this bottom connection right here isn't as strong. So this will fall out of position. And then it's just falling onto the top two sets of magnets to hold all of the weight. And then because it's not going to be able to hold the rotation, then it can just rotate out of position for the magnets, which is like worst case scenario. But generally speaking, it's solid. Oop, I can't reach it that way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.